Good morning and welcome to Inside Running on Tab Radio Racing and Sports.
Magnificio races to the lead, getting through Waterman's Bay. Magnificio narrowly from Waterman's Bay.
Our team will evaluate each race, interview leading contenders and update Tab Touch markets.
But now Delicacy, here she comes. Delicacy under the 59 went to Neverland and Real Love Dark Musket. It's Delicacy against the inside. Sublime, brilliant, greatness in the cup.
We trust you will enjoy this edition of Inside Running. Now, over to the team for their look at today's meeting.
So mostly sunny this morning. There is a chance of a shower most likely later afternoon or early evening and some light winds around. We're going for a top of 21 degrees. Right now we're just under the 8-degree mark for this morning as we welcome the Inside Running team led by Darren McAullay. Good morning.
Good morning to you, Matt. Good morning, everyone. And great to have your company too on this delightful start to the Saturday ahead of us. Beautiful conditions this morning. Everyone out and about there on the magnificent Swan River here. The runners, the cyclists, the road hoggers, and everyone else in between, the rowers as well. They're all out and about, and it's a beautiful start to the day here. Glorious conditions for a very early commencement too at Belmont Park, it might be said, with the first event at 11:24, an unusual starting time here for the program. And of course the winter features continue on with the running of the Swan Draught Strickland Stakes as our highlight today. A race that has been left with just the 7 runners in the Group 3 feature, with the scratchings of the Velvet Queen and also Go Bella, 2 of the mares that have come out of the Strickland of 2024. Digby Beacham in the studio with Scotty Embry on a Saturday morning, more than usual. Good morning to both of you.
Good morning,
start
Darren.
for the day. We'll be out of here and virtually heading straight to the track.
Yeah, exactly right, Darren. Looking forward to this meeting. Good morning to you, Matt, Scott. A lot of interest surrounds whether Western Empire bounces back today in the feature, Scott.
After the scratchings, he's in nice and short. 2's on. $1.50 Western Empire. I watched his replay a few times and I probably sold myself that he peaked up in the last 50 to 75. That was probably the weakest part of his race. But I do remember reading on the Chris website one of Julio's articles, and probably was through a chat with the Sports Daily boys, that going into that meeting, the big question mark was, will he handle the soft track? And I read Grant Williams' commentary that they just eased off on him a little bit, and you never know, maybe he got under the radar there, and now they
seems to be the general point of discussion, doesn't it? He might have just pulled up a little bit big on them.
Tighten the screws here. Hasn't rained all week. No excuse today.
Well, I'm looking forward to that race today because I do think that the old warhorse can really test his mettle. It wouldn't surprise me at all if he was able to go all the way and win a Strickland Stakes for the Lulu Ciani stable. What have you made of the support card this afternoon? Typical winter type of affair, Diggs?
Yeah, I think so, Darren. There's a couple of handy horses going around, and we'll touch on them throughout the morning. But to be fair, it's probably your trademark winter card. In saying that, I'm happy that we are on an improving track. We are on a 5 this morning, but who knows? It might even get to a 4. Beautiful day out there today.
I'd suspect that it's certainly bordering on that good 4 range almost there. It's somewhere sitting in between. We'll take a look at the conditions and scratchings whilst we've got the opportunity here. First event, 11:24 a.m. at the moment, as Diggs has touched upon here, folks. It's a soft 5, but there would be every prospect that it could well be upgraded as the day goes on with these magnificent weather conditions here that we're enjoying this morning. And it's currently 7.8 degrees. In the opening event, the Amelia Park Plate, it's a race where we have no scratchings. A field of 12 will boot the card off. Race 2, and this is the Renew Your Warroa membership handicap. And in the second event, we have no scratchings either. In fact, they are very minimal through the day. The Spirit of Racing Awards Noms Open Handicap is the third. It is clear as well. Go to race number 4, Heat 3 of the Winter Series for the West Speed Platinum, and nothing to report there either. Race 5, the free entry to Belmont Park Handicap, and we take up 11, the first of the omissions for the day, and that is Nod and Smile. Race 5, number 11. Race 6 is the Drummond Golf Handicap, and On the Mark has been withdrawn after its fabulous effort last start at Belmont Park. On the Mark out of race number 6. Race 7 is the Petaluma Handicap. It's clear. The feature race for the day, as I mentioned there, the mares come out of the Strickland Stakes, 2 of them. 8, the Velvet Queen, 9, Go Bella, leaving us with a pay 1-2 in the Group 3 feature, just the 7 to run there in the Swan Draught Strickland Stakes. And the last event is the Tab Touch. Have you got the Touch Handicap? And out of the last event, we can take number 10, Gift of the Heart. So race 9, number 10, some of the speed comes out of the final race for the day. Gift of the Heart, the scratching there, so they are reasonably minimal. 10 minutes after 8 o'clock, you are listening to Inside Running. We're about to preview Belmont Park action. Don't forget to, if you're heading trackside, you'll need to be there early for the first. It's 11:24 to boot this 9-race card off, and we'll take a look at the opening event right after this break. 13 minutes after 8, and great to have your company here as we start our look ahead at the action from Belmont Park. 11:24 commencement time this morning. Matt McDermott, let's go to you now and take a look at the markets from Tab Touch.
And a Street Band is into $2.45 from $3, $5.50 into $4.80. Elite Missile, Exceed the Planet, $4.40 out to $5. Cura Quay, $26, 11 into $9. Noah Quintilly, Satin Bow, $21. Classic Impact, $17. Ginger and Tonic, $61. Clever Cond, $81. Invincible Thief, $61. $31 for Choice Attraction. And Noble Donna, Open 7, now $9.50.
All right, well, Scotty, we'll kick things off here with you. Trevor Andrews' Colt Street Band is out there trying to make it a winning hat-trick. He's come up in terrific order so far this campaign.
He certainly has, and with Luke Campbell's claim, he gets in at what looks a very winnable weight, but what he has to deal with is the obvious on paper, and that's the barrier.
Absolutely. He has drawn the river, 12 of 12, and I thought the run of a couple of horses behind Street Band last start were both really encouraging, namely Exceed the Planet, who I thought was terrific to be beaten only a length or so behind Street Band on that occasion. And another horse who's decidedly better drawn today, and that's Noah Quintilly, who there's been a little bit of money for. Plus, we see the return of S.J. Miller's Elite Missile, Diggs.
Yeah, exactly right, Darren. I think Elite Missile is going to be suited here at the 1,400 metres. Has had a couple of trials to prep up for this. I concur with you regarding Exceed the Planet. Bombed the start and did a wonderful job to be beaten only a length and a half. Now, he went around on that occasion at $91. You're fronting up to $5.50 at the moment. He's been a little bit soft in the market, but you would think with the benefit of race experience and that gate, if he leaves on equal terms, he's going to be right there. And certainly Noah Quintilly had absolutely no luck the other day and did a pretty good job to run midfield. From that low draw today, you can expect to see her, you would think, be positive and might even take up the running here.
I'm a bit surprised here that it doesn't actually make the steward's report there about Exceed the Planet, because he did miss the kick by about 3 lengths in that race, and it's not mentioned at all there. So it was a very good performance there. I'm going to have to break my normal criteria for tipping the second up 1,400 aspect, because I do like Exceed the Planet here. I do have a great respect for Street Band, the way it's going, but gee, I'm very cautious about the outside gate. I think he's well in enough at the weights, but he's a horse that's got a turn of foot. That's one thing that he has got there. So it remains to be seen what tactics Luke Campbell will adopt here. One would imagine you'll have to go back and try and snag a ride home on the back of one. In reference to Noah Quintilly, it drew 9 of 12 first up and sat 3 deep on top of the speed without cover. But of course, out of gate 1 here this afternoon, what would you expect here, Dig Scotty? It led running and was a very easy barrier trial winner over Brazen Bid before that first up run.
I'd expect the kicker out today in a race where there doesn't look to be that much tempo. It's the first 2-year-old 1,400 of the season, basically, apart from the sires. So you get to see them here today with a lot less speed and pressure. I'd be shocked if they didn't use that barrier.
Okay. Well, look, it's virtually a maiden field with that exception of Street Band here that are going to contest the first event. Which way are you going to go? I'll
go with the 2-time winner. I'm just going to bank on Luke Campbell to find the right back to follow in running, because Street Band, from what he's shown so far, is the one that they need to beat. 5, Noah Quintilly, love the barrier draw difference for her today and the softer map that she's seen. 3, Exceed the Planet. On what he produced first up, he has to be a live hope here. He actually ran the fastest last 600 of that race. It's just always in the back of the mind that he did go round triple figures in betting, and 2 Elite Missile, who trialled nicely, I thought. Very soft trials, beaten margins, but never really asked for an effort, I didn't think. 1-5-3-2.
Well, he didn't know that he was a $90 chance that he exceed the Planet, so I thought it was a terrific run, all things considered, Diggs.
Yeah, I agree. Now, I'd love to see him leave cleanly and show some gate speed early doors, and that may well determine whether he's going to be in the finish. But I think if he does, he can win this race. Very even affair, probably more so given the barrier that the favourite Street Band has come up with, and also gets the services of Luke Campbell. But I went that way. 3 Exceed the Planet from 1 Street Band, no knock, loved the ride last start, won the race. 2 Elite Missile Fresh, and 5 Noah Quintilly. 3, 1, 2 and 5.
They are the same 4 numbers that I've got down to on the guide. It's 3 for me as well. I'm going to mark down Exceed the Planet here on top in a pretty even type of affair. Street Band, the danger to it with the obvious form. Noah Quintilly and Elite Missile. I think 1400 might be okay too, certainly based on what we've seen so far. 3, 1, 5 and 2.
So Scott is with Street Band number 1, 5, 3, 2. Digby is 3, and that is Exceed the Planet 1, 2, 5. Same tip as well from Mac 3 to beat 1, 5 and 2 for the minor. The second race is at a minute to lunch. The Renew Waroa membership handicap. It's over 1,000 metres. They all start 9.50 from 16. Boots Like Bruce. 2.15 back into 2.05. Divine Belief. 9 to 9.50 back to 9. Rock This Town. Double Spice 21. 7.50 out to 10. Rupert's Empire. 5.50 into 4.40. Rumour Says. Kripalenko's in half a point to 8.50, and from 11 out to 19. Pot Shot.
Okay, well, we see the return today of Dave Harrison's playing God mare, Divine Belief, who's got that fabulous winning strike rate. She's a 50% winner, 5 of 10, and back in action this afternoon. She'll be ever famous for being one of the D. Oliver trilogy on Gold Rush Day, no matter what happens for the rest of her racing career. And also we see Luke Fernie's mare returning this afternoon, second up in actual fact in Rumour Says, who I thought put in a fabulous performance behind Final Siren at her return to racing. Handy little race this, over 1,000 metres, and they should go lickety-split.
You would think so, Darren. I've convinced myself here, Scott, that Divine Belief Fresh gets the world perfect run behind the speed.
Me too, and has to be awfully hard to beat off what she's produced so far. She's a 2-time first-up winner, 4-time 1,000-metre winner, 59.5 kilos. You're always going to potentially look at that and have half an air of caution, but at the same time, it's only 1,000 metres. She's first up here without a trial, off an almost identical preparation to when she won first up when last in work, and she didn't just win that day at Ascot. I'm talking about the 2nd of December when she was 6 months between runs. She was first up, no trial, over 1,000 that day, and she won it by 2 but could have won it by 5.
Bruce leads, Rock This Town sits to his outside.
Rock This Town crosses?
I thought Rock This Town crossed.
Cross, okay.
Yes, I think he finds Find the Fence, Rock This Town. I think he's got superior speed than Boots Like Bruce. I think you can imagine it sitting on the back of it. It probably allows a perfect set up for Clint Johnston Porter, really, on Rumour Says.
Well, I think either way, whether your team Boots gets crossed or Boots leads, either way that leaves Divine Belief third in running.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
So just allowing these two to go at it in front and then parking on the speed and producing at the right time. Thought she's very hard to beat. The one that looms as the danger is Rumour Says, but what you're also going to get with her is a head start, because she always tends to get off the pace no matter where she's drawn in the line. 2 Divine Belief to hold off 6 Rumour Says, 3 Rock This Town's going along okay, and 1 Boots Like Bruce. Never actually raced over 1,000 metres, but can't see a reason why he wouldn't be competitive. He normally is everywhere he goes. 2, 6, 3 and 1.
Okay, Diggs, how do you see this on the freshest? I hope Divine Belief is moving better than the trainer on the Wednesday meeting at Bunbury. Looked awfully short in his action, hobbling across Britain Road there.
Was he?
Yeah.
Like a centipede with gout.
Well, I thought he had a stone in his shoe at one stage.
Might have been like a half-open pocket knife.
I'm not quite sure what he was doing parking over the other side of the road from the racecourse, but anyway, he made it hard for himself.
Closer to the bar. 2 Divine Belief on top. From 5 Rupert's Empire gets here fresh. We know that he can peel off some serious fractions when winding up. 6 Rumour Says, and 1 Boots Like Bruce on the fresh side, expecting him to race well. 2, 5, 6, 1.
Okay, so Divine Belief there, it's the way to go for you and Scotty. I'm going to side up with Rumour Says. I thought it was a fantastic performance given the fact that she didn't trial going into that race, and I really felt that the numbers that she produced that day, there's high-end speed, and there will be high-end speed here. with great respect to Divine Belief, I'm just going to mark Rumour Says down. I know that she'll probably give the latter a bit of a head start, but I'm marking them 6 from 2. Could be either. Rock This Town's going to, I think, lead them for quite a way there into the home straight. And 7, Kripolenko. Awkward gate to overcome, but racing in very good form at the moment for Greg Buglehull. 6, 2, 3, 7. And the blinker's going on to Potshot today. That's an interesting one. Double figures, maybe not the worst if you're looking for another one to add into your exotics as well there in race number 2, Matt.
So 2 is the tip. Divine Belief from Scott, 6-3-1. Digger's also with 2 from 5-6-1. And Darren is with 6. That's Rumour Says to be 2, 3 and 7. At 12.34 is the WA Spirit of Racing Awards nomination now open handicap, and it's over 16.50. Mojo Rhythms at 16, 6 for Pompeii. Demolish is at 8, out from 6.50. 23 into 14, Admiration Express. 225 into 205, Ollie's Choice. 460 to 6, and now back to $5. Rusty Dreams Fluctuation. Designae is at 9.50, should I say, from 12, and Sluice Box 71.
Okay, well, Ollie's Choice is in white-hot form and has been for some time as it extends or attempts to extend its winning sequence to 4. A horse that certainly is on the rise, going places, just picking his way through the grades at the moment, and one would expect that there is going to be a decent race for Ollie's Choice at some stage, the way he's going down the track, Scotty.
You'd have to think so. I mean, if he was to come through today victorious, he goes to an 89 rater. And that gets you in on the minimum in a lot of very nice listed races or better quality races across the summer carnival. So I would think that today's potentially end of his campaign, just to give him enough time to aim up at something a little bit richer.
Start 11 this campaign.
And he's flying.
He is.
And if you talk about handicapping, you look at his last 3 victories, he's got 4 points every time. He's won by 1 3/4, 1.5, and then won by a length last start after sitting 3 deep the trip, no cover.
That's exactly right. Yes,
so
he's been dominant.
He's been dominant, but he's also been fairly loosely dealt with. He hasn't copped the wrath of the handicapper at any stage for victories that have been arrogant and dominant as he makes his way through the grades. I think he probably, hopefully, gets the job done again, because the way that he's going, unless he goes backwards, he'll be awfully hard to hold out.
Okay, well, what do we make of Rusty Dreams there? Gets a bit of weight relief. Second up, steps out to 1,650, which I thought might be a bit of an ask, a contract there for her. But of course, if we go back to her absolute best form, and I think that she won the Belmont Guineas this day last year. It was run this day 12 months ago, the Guineas, not today. But how much improvement does she take out of that first up run? Was it the fact that she just needed that outing or not? Because I thought she was a little bit flat in the last part of that race.
Yeah, I thought she was okay. You know, we know that she's a high-class mare. The interesting thing is there, she didn't savage the line.
No.
And now she's at 16.50 second up. So it'll be interesting to see how she goes, and it'll be fascinating to see what the market does with her as we get closer to jump time, Scott.
Did the 60 get a hold of her the other day as well?
Probably.
Maybe just couldn't quite pick up underneath the big weight.
Yeah.
Career high for her.
Yeah.
Beneficiary of dropping 3, should get a lovely run in behind the speed. I thought she was one of the dangers to Ollie's Choice. I probably sold myself that the main danger to Ollie's Choice was a horse settling in front of him, beating him home, and that potentially being Pompeii, because of the fact that they're...
Looks the leader, doesn't it?
And no real breeze horse either.
Would Stevie come across with Demolish?
I think what they aim for most with Demolish is cover, and cover for as long as possible.
That was evident last start too. The ride by Steve was an absolute peach to get it home. He sat there as quiet as a church mouse,
he did.
Until he had to hit the button and go with Demolish, who, of course, ran third in the Guineas this day last year behind Rusty's Dream. So here they are clashing once again.
And then third in a Perth Cup, so there's plenty more fun to be had with Demolish.
Absolutely. And third up, 5 starts, 5 placings, so you know what you're going to get in this time of his preparation. So he's certainly in our mix there, but I do concur with you in regards to Pompeii. I think looking the leader without getting too much pressure to absorb, might be able to sneak away with a nice couple of cheap sectionals as well. But they have to beat Ollie's Choice, although he's got very deep into his preparation. I'm going that way from Pompeii, Rusty Dreams and Demolish. I thought they were the likely 4, Scott.
They were the 4 for me as well. 5, 6, 2, 3. Ollie's Choice to go 4 in a line. Pompeii to give a lot of cheek and be hard to get past. 6 Rusty Dreams in there as well as 3 Demolished. So put me down as 5, 2, 6 and 3.
All right, Diggs, how are you going to put them down?
I will make it a clean sweep with Ollie's Choice. On top from 2, Pompeii, your likely leader. 3, Demolished, going well. Nice horse, very versatile horse. And I've gone down to 7, Destiny. Drops in weight 3 starts ago. You go back to that race, he now meets Ollie's Choice 4 kilos better for being beaten just over 2, and he gets back on top of the ground today. 5, 2, 3 and 7.
Okay, then we'll let Matty Mack do his thing and then take a break. On the other side, be back with more of our insight into racing at Belmont Park.
So 5 is the way to go in race number 3, and that is Ollie's Choice. 5, 2, 6, 3 from Scott, 5, 2, 3, 7 from Digby, and Darren has gone 5, 2, 6 and 3.
Okay, welcome back. We're down to race 4 on Inside Running, previewing this Belmont Park card. We've got to the 3rd heat of the Westspeed Platinum Winter Series here for you. A field of 14, big lineup there, and a very open affair, I might say, as well, Matt.
And $13 Ginger Green open at 10, 15 for Advance. Boab Boy 12 into 750. Birds the Word 850 now 7. Nero King got out to 9, back to 850. Climb on Top, open 9, reached 11, now 950. 12 out to 16, Bred to Flirt. DT's at 23, 850 to 11, El Patron. Elbow Lounge 550, Inner Point. Out to $10, Fortune's Luck. Platinum Classes at 15, 41, Big Cities. And Kelly's Liza Lou at 23.
All right, Diggs, well, you love a raffle. Here's one for you.
Yeah.
There. Take the handball.
Thank you. I also love Nero King. He is one of mine, and I must...
He's a Belmont Park horse.
He's a Belmont Park horse. He doesn't like Ascot. To be fair, with a slice of good fortune, his record, is considerably better than what it is. As it stands, it's quite sound, and I thought that most recent trial, his only trial this time in, was encouraging, Scott.
I liked his trial, liked it a lot, and they've probably had this race and this series picked out for him. There's a $100,000 final at the other end of it, so you can understand it's nice placement, and the wide barrier is not going to worry him whatsoever.
Big field, good tempo.
They haven't really jumped on board, though, for all of these aspects. He's out to, what, $8.50?
Well, he's a back marker. That's why he's always going to be on soft in the market.
Just mapping the race, too, where they're going to settle. Well, you know that he is going to be out there, certainly from barrier 13 and going back. Who leads the race? Is it Boab Boy, who there's a bit of support for there? Maybe they're rolling the dice, and in a very tough race, it might be said too. I thought that it's a race there that I don't have a great guide on. Boab Boy could probably lead. Birds the Word, Platinum Class. Could El Patron go forward and want to take up a position somewhere near the pace?
I think you've covered it well with that trio, especially El Patron, Boab Boy and Birds the Word, looking some of the main speed horses in this. I actually thought Boab Boy was a genuine contender in this. Off of Freshen, didn't race in May at all, so he was sort of 6-7 weeks between runs.
Yep.
He was only 2 lengths off Dance Boss and Kalima, and it was a race where they swooped over the top of the leaders.
And Fly With Caution, the previous start place there. I think that form probably is good enough to win this race. I think that could be, if they were in this race, both of those horses, I'm sure that they'd be very popular.
He's already a Westspeed Platinum winner from the Breeze with 59.5, Boab Boy, so I thought he had to be genuine top 4 material and holds up a pretty good price. Do you go one more time with Elbow Lounge, or at what point do you put the line through him?
It's a very good question. The thing with him, yes, he's being a professional bridesmaid at the moment, but the form lines in those races is pretty strong for a race like this. Would you concur?
They're all good.
Yeah.
4 starts back, he's run second to Rachanko, who at that stage was undefeated. Then he ran second to Best Mood, who at his next start beat Generosity. Then he ran second to Falcon Trader, who at his next start won the WA Day Cup at Northern. And as much as he's getting beaten, everything around him continues to go well out of the races that he's through. And last start he had a 3 kilo claiming apprentice on and made ground on a day it was tough to make ground. Are you trying to sell yourself on him and make a case for him, or does he just continue to find one better no matter where he goes?
What do we think, Darren, you've been around the game long, what do we think about horses who continually run second? What does it do to their psyche?
That's a very good point. And I tend to think that they They compete, but for whatever reason, there's always just one better on that particular given day. They don't deliver a killer blow. I think they compete. So
They're
once they get into that, they're herd runners, aren't they?
Exactly.
In
exactly
many
right.
respects.
Yeah.
So I think that's probably the answer to it. I've got him in that category virtually. I'd love to see him win a race for
Gets a chance
Stormy
today
Dennis.
from that gate.
I think this is a very wide race. I mean, you could make a case for quite a few of them. I'm going a bit deeper again, and I don't have a great deal of confidence with what I have selected. So,
And if you are betting in the race, at least with Elbow Lounge, you're not looking down the barrel of trying to take straight out.
Correct way.
You can back him each way.
Yes, you
I think
can.
you can back anything in this race each way, quite frankly. It's such a tough old race. All right, well, look, let's just throw some numbers there and see what the dartboard reveals.
Yeah, look, I've sold myself that Nero King is a horse fresh, capable of taking this race out. He'll need a good ride. He'll need a few things to go his way, as do all backmarkers. And clearly there is another race which is going to be more important than this one in the campaign. But off that trial, 58.5, it's a good weight for him. He's a nice big boy. He can carry that. And if he gets the track up, maybe he can salute it each way. Price. For me, he's on top. From one, Ginger Green, we haven't touched on him. He's the class runner of this field. We know that Sean and Steve have a lethal combination. This horse is proven fresh. It's a tricky gate for Sean to navigate today, but as I said, he has raced in far better races than this.
And I think in fairness to him, in that trial, it was on a soft 7, so he may not have handled it either that day at Lark Hill. So very, very soft underfoot, and he didn't maybe seem all that comfortable on it.
10 Elbow Lounge and 6 Climb on top. 5, 1, 10 and 6, Scott.
All right, then very wide there, Scotty.
10 for me, Elbow Lounge, and only for the fact that he's each way. I've been a follower of the horse. I've burnt my fingers on numerous occasions with him, but I think this is a winnable race, and if Jason Whiting can get skittish home, he can get Elbow Lounge
Getting
home.
a lot of things home at the moment, Jason.
He's in good form.
Very good form.
Very good
It
form.
has been for a couple of months.
Yep.
10 Elbow Lounge, 4 Birds of the Word, 3 Boab Boy, so the 2 speed runners, and 1 Ginger Green. 10, 4, 3, 1.
I can't really make great justification other than the fact that I thought that it hung tough last start, my selection. It's around $11 in a race where they're going to back any number of them. And El Patron is the horse I've gone for, gets that claim of Luke Campbell here. I think he can park forward and battled on very well, under a length to Flash Paddy, was placed to Valderina. There's that Valderina form through a few of these in the race. So, look, for no specific reason other than it's $11 in the market and gets a bit of weight relief and is racing competitively, it'll be one in the mix to beat 3 Boab Boy for the reasons that we've highlighted in regards to its speed, pace, where it will be, holding form, through a good form reference, Dance Boss, Fly with Caution, and Elbow Lounge for third for mine, ahead of number... Well, I'll go 6 Climb on top, although on paper, not great in the Valderina race first up in that Westby Platinum, but very good second up, 2 for 2. So just on that stat alone, I'm going to throw it in there and lower Nero King out of my mix, but with great respect to Ginger Green as well. So 9, 3, 10 and 6, but that is a proverbial raffle, Matt.
All right. Elbow Lounge from Scott, number 10, 4, 3 and 1. Digby's gone 5, Nero King, 1, 10 and 6. And at 9, the tip from Darren El Patron to beat 3, 10 and 6. With the free entry to Belmont Park handicap over 16.50 at 10 minutes to 2. Number 11 is out, an Acting God at 23. Emerald Trader out to 10. $7 now, Super Romani or Romani. Antique Miss is at 2.20. 13, Beat the Bro, Imperial Eyes 11. 61, Rocker Kaha. Striking Fella is into 10. 7.50 in a few points, Reliable Queen. Making Profits at 13 and down to Storm Lord, who's at 71.
Okay, well, let's take a look at this with Reliable Queen, looking for her third win from 4 runs for New Connections this campaign. Merrill Haley doing a super job with her. Antique Miss at a 4th run in this preparation has lined up against some good ones, including Rope Them In, Fast, Liquor My Jimmy, where she didn't have a lot of luck last start. And Emerald Trader at Belmont Park for the second time this campaign is very much more at home on this bigger, longer run home track. So how do you see this one, boys? We'll go with you there, Diggs.
Well, I wasn't on Antique Miss at the most recent start, but had I been on Antique Miss, Scott, I would have been reaching for the sick bag on more than 3 occasions, I think, in the straight.
It was ugly, wasn't it? And as that race started to unfold with 250 metres to go, you could just see that there was nowhere for her to go. And it was hard not to be impressed with the way that she got to the line once she got out. But today they go to the apprentice rider, so you lose Pike Services. She races like the mile will suit. She's already a 2-time winner at that distance range, so no issues for me. But again, she's short for a mare that likely settles very rearward.
Yes, agree with that 100%.
So my only knock on her is the price. I think that she's still clearly the horse they need to beat in this race, but it comes down to, would I rather take 220 Antique Miss or each way about anything else in the field, which is the way that this market is.
Okay, well, then give us a bit of a lead as to which way you will be going if you're either tipping or you're punting.
I'm massive on new stable, new horse. So anytime you see a horse change stables or change trainer, you basically take away their previous form if they show a difference in the way that they're going. Reliable Queen being the perfect example. She was 0 from 10 when she arrived at Merrill Haley's yard. 3 starts for the new yard, and the worst that she's finished is a head off Lord Lala, where she had to ride a bump and probably lost a bit of momentum and interest. I thought she was exceptionally good last start, last to first on a heavy 8, getting over them. Don't think she beat much. She's beaten He's Archie and co. But I love the way she's going. I like the fact that Brad Parnham jumps on. She's drawn in barrier 4. She's probably going to get back to a similar spot and run into Antique Miss. And you've got Brad Parnham v Luke Campbell hopefully matching motors down the straight. I'll take the each way about Reliable Queen, I think.
Okay, so handling a step up in class for her, and you've marked it out on top. Let's load up your other legs of the exotics.
9, the way that she's going, the way that all of Merrill's are going, I think she can measure up here today. 4, Antique Miss. My only concern is the price point. 2, Emerald Trader goes really well at Belmont Park, and 6, Imperialise, who they had a real crack at last start behind Making Profits, and he was pretty good late. 9, 4, 2, 6.
4293 for me. I'm with Antique Miss. Clearly she's going to need a good ride from young Luke Campbell, but if she is afforded that off what we saw there, and there was good support for her, that was at Belmont late last month. She's awfully hard to beat here. 2, Emerald Trader. He's getting away a lot better than he has done previously. It's half a sticky gate for Holly to overcome there today. We know that he was wide throughout. I thought he was actually pretty good running a 3rd behind Tenacious Reward. You go down to 9, Reliable Queen, for the reasons that Scott's outlined, and 3, the big boy, Super Romany. 4, 2, 9 and 3.
Okay, well, I think that Antique Miss is probably overdue for a change of luck, but all things considered there, and it does get down, I think, a lot to price point in this race. From an investment perspective, I still think that with even luck going her way, that she's deserved of breaking through in this campaign for Mickey G. So it's 4 for me. Emerald Trader, for the obvious, I've marked down as the danger to it. Like it here at Belmont Park. Reliable Queen, just terrific. I could have put Making Profits, who was very impressive. It just chimed in from nowhere at Pinjarra last start, soft 7 ground. Took that into consideration. Super Romany was scratched on the 25th of May, had some leg swelling, and it's back to 1650 with Pike Services, so I elevated Super Romany just up ahead of Making Profits in this race. 4, 2, 9, 3, Matt, the way that I put them in the 5th.
Scott is with 9, Reliable Queen, 4, 2 and 6. Diggers with 4, Antique Miss, 2, 9, 3. And same for Darren, 4, 2, 9 and 3 as well in race number 5. Race 6, this starts the proper quaddie for Drummond Golf, a handicap over 1200 with 10 out. Bondi Bubbles 11, 750 King's Honour. King's Parade is at 23, 14 into 9 our Rocky Bay. Lost City is at 7 in from 10, 320 to 340, and now an even $3, just a bit of press. 19 Wicked Venom, Guarding Heaven at 31, 5 into 420 Objectify, down to Prince of Santos at 21 and 26 Wiley Girl.
I like this race. 1200, just a bit of press, little gear change, 1200 metres, I thought big plus. I like the way that this filly goes about her craft as well, and Objectify from Danny Morton's stable there. There's a bit of depth in it. King's Honour's very quick. We see Bondi Bubbles, who elevated to new levels last time that he was in, and it resulted in a victory in the 3-year-old Magic Millions trophy. So a good race with our Rocky Bay second up, a more than capable horse for Teddy Tinovich as well. Lost City will have fans, although it has drawn awkwardly. Good race, bit of depth, a little bit of emerging quality in it as well, I would suggest.
I think the big difference here for Just a Bit of Press start to start is the barrier and the map that he's got. Last start he sat 3 deep the trip behind King's Honour, and it was a race where they almost finished in settling positions. King's Honour was half a length in front of Ginnivan on his outside. They finished first and second with about that same margin. Just a Bit of Press sat 3 wide, fought on into fourth, and Bolter sort of nudged his way through late from leaders back. I thought he was pretty good.
And that was a week off a setback when he was meant to run this.
That's right.
7 days earlier. No luck in the run. A compromised lead up to that start. You'd like to think everything has been, plain sailing here. He gets 1,200 metres. I don't think that's going to be an issue. He gets weight relief. He gets a gate. I think he's awfully hard to beat today, taking into account this is a pretty deep 3-year-old race.
I think it is too, and the form now of Objectify has been, I think, enhanced with that victory of Sentimental Belle during the weekend. It was an impressive win.
And a half-sister, Miss Field, goes around there tomorrow. The Magic Millions Winter Sale up for sale as well tomorrow, half to Objectify.
Out of Rantarini.
Correct weight.
Who was a pretty good mare herself. I think that they can quinella the race. Scotty, how are you going to select them in this?
So do I. And I'm probably looking at taking just the 2 of them in the first leg of the quaddie as well and trying to get a bit of value in the second and last legs, obviously the third leg being Western Empire. 6, 9, 4 and 2, I like everything that Digby said. The weight drop, the map, the 1,200 metres, everything points to Just a Bit of Press being very hard to beat in this. 9, Objectify, love this filly. I think she's got a mountain of upside, but she's probably going to settle off the back of Just a Bit of Press and have to run him down, should I say. 4, Our Rocky Bay, love the run behind Bayzid last week, over 1,000. 7 days later out to 12 and probably looking to settle a little bit more prominently. 2, King's Honour, going particularly well. First time 1,200. Senior going on with the wide draw means he gets up a bit in the weights as well. I thought this was tougher than what he won a fortnight ago. 6, 9, 4 and 2.
All right then. So Just a Bit of Press in it will be with you, and I think it'll be with me as well, Diggs.
Yeah, exactly right, Darren. 6 on top from 9, Objectify. I love the way that she returned to the races. That was a terrific win on heavy ground. She needs to do it today on top of the ground, but she's got a lovely action, and I think she's a filly that you can follow going forward. 1, Bondi Bubbles, comes here off what was a searching campaign and just got better and better and better, taking out the Magic Millions in the final run of that preparation. And 2, King's Honour, who is going to ride the speed. But I'm thinking Just a Bit of Press, one of the better bets on the day. 6, 9, 1, 2.
6, 9 for me as well. I'm going to put Our Rocky Bay first time off 7 days. I'm not quite sure how it'll handle that off that effort to Bayzid last time around, but I like this horse. I think he's a competitor, Our Rocky Bay. He'll get better as the preparation, I think, gets a little deeper. I did put Lost City in. I'm not quite sure what to do with Bondi Bubbles. It went unheralded down there to Esperance to try and find a bit of form. Didn't just find some form, it elevated to different levels. It became a headline act at the end of the preparation.
It was sensational. He went from a maiden to a 3-year-old Magic Millions and won 6 races, 7 races in a row. He's now the winner of over 300,000, including bonuses.
And when you're going well, when you finish a campaign in the metropolitan area per se with that win in the Magic Millions 3-year-old race.
Yeah, he's a horse. I'm not quite sure what to do, and his elevation was extraordinary. It was one of the, I think, the better stories to come out of that period there, with the horse wandering off and just trying to establish itself and fulfill its ability, I guess, and it exceeded that beyond expectation. Does it do it again this campaign? It's hard to say. Anyway, that's how we see race number 6. I think it'll be one of the real highlights on the program this afternoon.
A clean sweep, Just a Bit of Press, number 6, 9, 4, 2 from Scott, 6, 9, 1 and 2 from Digby, and Darren's gone 6, 9, 4 and 5.
Righty, let's have a look at the last few races on the card before the opening event at Rose Hill. We'll get to the Petaluma handicap now. Matt, let's have a look at that market.
Rockin' Rupert is at $3.70, $9 cross statement, 8 for Vampire Play in from $9.50. Another Strike is at $6.50, 17 to 11 estimator. Mocha Dreams at 14 and a few points, 13 into $8.50 Hober West, 17 the big one, Fleur de la Coeur 41, 16 King's Flirt, Life is But a Dream out to $6.50 and Triple Figures Magic D.
Okay, then let's start with Rockin' Rupert first of all. A winner, impressive winner, 2 starts ago. Thought there were enough excuses the last time out in that 72 plus. Gets the claim of Kesh Duran this afternoon, and I would expect that he'll be hard to beat on rebounding.
Well, you referenced that start 2 starts ago, Darren, when he was successful beating Cross Statement by 1 3/4. Now, that was when he carried 58.5. After Kesh's claim today, he carries 59, Scott. His figures are always good because he can peel off some pretty serious sectionals. We've seen that. I was just looking at that run again a few times overnight this morning, that most recent run. I thought towards the tail end he could have perhaps found the line a little bit better, and I'm just wondering whether that's the grade, the tempo of that race. He comes back a couple of pegs here, and whether that's going to tilt the scales in his favour.
Does he respond to some urging and a bit of persuader use, because Lackdale lost his stick at the 200 there in that race? He hit the gates coming out of them. So
there were excuses, but I thought he was there ready to pounce.
I thought, I'm going to sit on the fence a little bit, but I thought Lackdale was pretty soft on him in the last 100 once he'd already dropped his whip and he wasn't going to contest the finish. I think he was kind to the horse. I'm more going off the run 2 back, which is this grade, this distance, and effectively this weight.
Yes.
He won it by 1 3/4 that day and got crunched.
Yes,
betting.
he did. It was a big go, wasn't it?
He drew 5 that day, sat 6th in running. He draws 5 today, and he should sit about 6th in running. Yeah. So he should get every chance. I went 1 Rockin' Rupert. The filly coming up in grade, Life is But a Dream. You can't do much more than what she's doing at the moment. She's getting the job done. She gets in with 54. At 1,200 metres today for the first time in this preparation. We'll see whether or not that will stop her. 7 Hober West. He was one of the very few horses to make any ground at Bunbury that day. He went straight into the black book. And 4 Another Strike. See no reason why he can't win again. I thought 1,000 may have been too sharp for him first up, but he got up along the cutaway and he put them away really well. 1, 11, 7 and 4 in a race where there's a ton of speed. Cross Statement, Estimator, the big one, they'll burn along.
I think that Another Strike beat a fair horse home too. I know he's not running today on the mark, but I do think that he's got tremendous upside there. So he goes right there in the mix as one of my horses that will feature.
Yeah, look, I'm with Scott here in Rockin' Rupert. He's a horse who showed enormous ability early doors, lost his way a bit, and Sean and Jake have done a terrific job to get him back, and he's racing particularly well. Big class dropper, winnable weight for him, good gate. He's proven 1,200 metres and he loves Belmont. 1 on top from 7 Hober West, for the reasons that Scott outlined, was terrific in making ground on a day when not many did. 4 Another Strike, and 10 King's Flirt, who can settle handy, and you'd think third up today is ready to produce a peak performance. 1, 7, 4 and 10.
It'll be unanimous for me as well there, Matt. You can lock in the 1 Rockin' Rupert. I'm putting in 4 Another Strike as the danger to it. I didn't think that it was sharp enough to win over 1,000 metres, but it proved me wrong, that's for sure. I've always had a fair bit of time here for this 3-year-old, and he continues to develop. Vampire Play I'm going to put in there. I thought that if she could go back, find a back to tack onto, she's going well at the moment. I thought her effort last start again to Dance Boss in this class, I thought she was well equipped to be very competitive running on, and Hober West obviously, and Life is But a Dream is working her way through some easier grades at the moment there too and doing nothing wrong. So 1, 4, 3, 7 in the Petaluma handicap.
So 1 is the popular elect, Rockin' Rupert. 11, 7, 4 the minor from Scott. 1 then 7, 4, 10 from Digby, and 1 followed by 4, 3, 7 from Darren. Now the Strickland Stakes. This is a Group 3 over 2,000 for Swan Draught with 8 and 9 out. $1.55 Western Empire, $5.50 Moricino. Casino 17 at 12, Star Trades at 41, $9.50 now Let's Gallivant, Ginger Bakers at 13 and $9 for Be Optimistic.
Well, that you have to be, I suppose, when you're looking at Western Empire at $1.70. If you're going to launch now after getting beaten last time out at $1.50, there's an obvious in this race. an absolute obvious, and it's the fact that Maricino, third run in this campaign, will go to the front and be there for a long, long way. And I'm really looking forward to seeing how he goes tactically with T. Turner dictating what he wants to do, and if Western Empire here at the 2,000 metres is going to pick him up. So he's a warhorse, Maricino, as we know, and gee, when you start to look at the price differential between them, you start to scratch your head thinking in a field of 7, as it often can do, the favourites can come unstuck.
And the best part for Maricino is that he scares off other horses from getting anywhere near him. Because if you're one of the other 6 riders, the one place you don't want to be is outside Maricino.
Well, you can tear up your ticket if that's the case, if you back one of those, because he'll just expose you.
So all of a sudden, Troy Turner ambles to the front, however slowly he wants, gets the first mile, well, less than, but probably 1,400, 1,200 as cheaply as he wants, and whenever he feels like upping the tempo, he can do it.
I reckon he'll roll. I think once that happens, a good point. I think that tactically he'll get rolling and try and expose Western Empire. I don't think that the prices are anywhere near with what they should be, Diggs, quite frankly, because I think that, and I'm going to tip Western Empire, but I'm, wanting to suggest here that Maricino can expose him at the price.
It's fraught with danger, betting into a 1-2 race, a pay 1-2, 220 a ticky Maricino. Even if you're staunch Western Empire, most will be Team Maricino for second. He maps to get the softest of leads here. No excuse with the rider that he goes best for. Third up into the prep, out to the 2,000 metres. Gee, he's going to be hard to get past Maricino.
Oh, he always is, isn't he? When he's rock hard fitting in the zone, he's awfully hard to get past.
We're almost trying to convince ourselves to tip him, Maricino, and take this odds-on favourite right on lock, stock and barrel, Diggs.
Well, you can make a case for Maricino, absolutely, but I'm just thinking the small field today, 2,000 metres, suits Western Empire, so he's a tip no bet for me. I've actually gone 7, Be Optimistic. I love that run in Adelaide. I thought it was a really, really encouraging performance from that mare. Now, she is a little space between runs, no doubt, but that low draw helps as well. So I've gone her for second. Maricino, clearly respect that. Not many horses in WA have earned in excess of $1.2 million. And 5, Let's Gallivant. This war horse as well. Talking about horses who are tough, you know what you're going to get from him. 1,725.
Yeah, I think they're the 4. Scotty?
I went in the end with Western Empire. As much as I convinced myself that he peaked up last 50 metres of that run in the Hyperion, he still ran the fastest last 600 from a mile off them. So today it's a field of 7. He's not going to concede them as much of a head start, but I'm sure that Maricino will make him stretch his neck, if not potentially roll him. 1 from 2, 5 Let's Gallivant, beat them both home in the Hyperion, and 3 Casino 17. 1, 2, 5 and 3. Be Optimistic. 5 weeks between runs back from South Australia. It's an interesting preparation.
Yeah, it certainly is. I'm 1 Western Empire. I think they'll have the horse screwed down. He should be fitter, tighter, harder for this. He'll need to beat Maricino, that is for sure. And if he wins the race, Maricino, no one's going to be absolutely shocked by it, because he is a very, very tough competitor. I'll put Let's Gallivant in there. Should enjoy a soft old run. I'll put Be Optimistic in ahead of Casino 17. 1, 2, 5 and 7 for the 8th event of the day. We'll recap them and then head across to Rose Hill for the first, Matt.
So the Western Empire is the way to go for race number 8, and 253 from Scott for the minor, 1725 from Digby, 125 and 7 from Mac. Up to race 9 at 4:30 at Belmont as we conclude Inside Running with the Tab Touch. Have you got the Touch handicap with a scratching of 10? They'll go 1,400 metres. Feels playful. 31, 16 Not Secret, Playhouse Patron 18, 51 Galaxy Affair, 15 Colossal, Count the Sessions 21, double figures into 8 Special Sort. Dance Boss is at 550 now, 440 for Kalima. Celebrity Prince 340 in a point, 26 Filthy Habits, 16 into 9 for Outfield, and Special View is at 81.
Okay, so Celebrity Prince here, favourite. Can it seek some redemption after a luckless last start effort that was behind Dance Boss and just did not get the rub of the green?
No, exactly. In the end, Kalima comes wide, Dance Boss comes wide, Celebrity Prince cuts the corner, and more often than not, Willie Pike finds those gaps through the field, but it wasn't to be the case that day with Celebrity Prince. out to 1,400 metres, drawn the best gate of his preparation. I think today he looks like he's hard to hold out. He's clearly returned in really good order. First up, loved his run over the back of him, over 1,000. Second up, thought he was luckless. I think that he gets his chance here.
Diggs?
Yeah, I agree. The other day, just, again, the doors shut everywhere where William was going to go, and at that stage of the race when he couldn't extract Celebrity Prince into clear air, you had Dance Boss and Kalima going through their gears. So I think today from this low draw, William rarely makes the same mistake twice, or rarely is the victim of circumstances.
Correct,
which
yes.
aren't in his favour, back to back. So with a dash of good even fortune, I think Celebrity Prince is the way to go on the last.
Okay, well, you've got the form around Dance Boss, Kalima
Yep.
as well. They're in the mix also. I think they're the trio. Then a couple of interesting ones probably. If you're looking at Ollie's Choice as a form reference, then you come back to Not Secret. And the horse they backed off the map down at Bunbury. First up, Outfield from Steve Burton's yard, gets in with the 53. Massive drop in the weight with the rising class, but the horse that beat home came out and delivered a victory during the week, so it mightn't be the worst form to work with. This is stronger.
And with Gift of the Heart coming out, he probably works his way to the top. Outfield.
Yes, I would think that's exactly how it's going to unfold. Outfield there from barrier 653. Probably high tails to the lead on the basis that Gift of the Heart now stays back home in the barn. So let's round them out in the last of the day. I think that he'll atone today, Celebrity Prince. But a competitive race to round out the afternoon. Kalima, Dance Boss, and I'll put Not Secret in now to run fourth with that scratching a Gift of the Heart.
11,982 for me. Celebrity Prince to make amends today from 9 Kalima, 8 Dance Boss, and 2 Not Secret.
All right.
11 for me from 9, 8, and I will include Outfield with the lightweight. 13 in for fourth. 11, 9, 8, 13.
All right. We'll get the numbers recapped there. Think about some best bets for the moment.
So 11 is the way to go in the last, and that is Celebrity Prince to beat 9, 8 and 13 from Scott. Digby with 11 to beat 9, 8 and 2. Mac, you went 11. I just missed the second
I
through
think they're
fourth.
almost a cut and paste of Diggs. 11, 9, 8, 2.
Beautiful. Thank you. So 11, 8, 9, 2. They're officially done from Mac.
Okay, can I pin you down for a best bet today, Digby?
Race 6, number 6, just a bit of press for me.
Okay then, so the one and the one only for you is your special for the day.
Race 2, number 2, Divine Belief. Race 3, number 5, Ollie's Choice.
I'll be with you on the back end of that too. Race 3, 5, Ollie's Choice, my best on the program. Around 205 at the moment. There has firmed up a bit, but in white hot form. Well, that's our look at today's action. Thanks, Scotty. See you there nice and early, trackside.
See you in 90 minutes.
We'll be keeping a watch on the footy as well. Our Perps playing the Bullies.
Surprised they're not favourites.
Over at Marvel.
The Purple Boys.
Today there too, yeah. There's some suggestion that maybe the Bont might not have been suiting up.
Hopefully that'll
With a
be...
bit of gastro. So if that's the case, you would imagine the money will keep coming for the Dockers. Diggs?
Oh, yeah, there's been good money all the way through. I think if they hold their ground midfield, they win.
Okay, so footy's out there at the races as well if you're heading along to Belmont Park. Thanks for your company this morning. Thanks to Matt McDermott as always too on this Saturday morning, and thank you for your company as well. We'll be back at around 11:15 with the latest news out of Belmont Park before the first at 11:24.